For decades, databases have pretty much been the silent workhorses of our digital world, right? A query goes in, a result comes out. Simple. But what we're seeing today is a fundamental shift in that whole relationship. We're moving from the database as a simple tool to an intelligent partner. And this is the story of that leap.
So let's just dive right in with a question that honestly changes everything. What if a database, this system that stores all our data, wasn't just a passive container? What if it was more like a living system? What if it could actually remember its own history, understand what you're trying to do with a query, and then act with a real purpose? Now, I know, that sounds like science fiction, but it's the new frontier that we are exploring right now.
We are standing at a genuine turning point. On one side, you've got the past, this passive, reactive world where databases just sat there, waiting for our commands, and only told us about problems after they happened. But on the other side, you have the future. An active, agentic system that actually anticipates what you need, solves problems on its own, and truly collaborates with its human operators. To really get how revolutionary this is, we have to take a quick look back at the old world of reactive control. Because, for as long as we've had these complex databases, we have had some seriously complex problems just trying to manage them. Think about it. Dashboards would show you a bunch of metrics, but a person, a human being, had to stare at them and figure out what was going on. A pager would go off at 3 in the morning, and a DBA had to wake up and scramble to fix the problem. The entire system, what we call the control plane, was just passive. It was a witness, not a participant. And its effectiveness was completely limited by the expertise and, frankly, the sleep schedule of the humans watching over it.
Okay, so going from being a passive witness to an active participant, well, that requires a complete reimagining of that whole control plane. And that brings us to the new paradigm, the Mission Control Panel.
And let's be super clear here. This is not just another dashboard with some fancier graphs. No way. The Mission Control Panel, or MCP, is an entirely new class of system. It's this active intelligence layer that isn't just showing you data. It is observing, reasoning about what it sees, and coordinating actions. It really is the brain of the whole operation.
So, how does this brain actually work? To understand that, we've got to look inside the machine. The secret, it turns out, lies in a concept called agentic architecture.
The core idea here isn't to have one giant, monolithic AI trying to do everything at once. That's not it at all. Instead, the MCP is powered by what you could call a federation of specialists. Basically, a team of autonomous AI agents, where each one has a specific job, its own unique memory, and a very clear mission.
First up is the Librarian. Think of this agent as the system's long-term memory, its historian. It's the one that knows why a particular schema was designed the way it was 6 years ago. It tracks every single change, every migration, and it provides this invaluable context that, let's be honest, no single human could possibly keep in their head.
Next, we have the Watcher. This is the system's eyes and ears, and it is on the job 24/7. It's constantly scanning logs, metrics, performance traces, but it's not just looking for red lights on a dashboard. It's looking for these really subtle patterns, the faint signals that predict an anomaly is coming before it becomes a critical failure.
Then there's the tuner. This is your performance specialist. It's not just flagging queries that are already slow. It's proactively rewriting them to be more efficient, suggesting new indexes to speed things up, and even predicting how a new software deployment might impact the database's performance down the line. Of course, with all this autonomous action happening, you absolutely need rules. And that is the job of the steward. This agent is the guardian of governance. It makes sure every single suggested action complies with security policies, data privacy regulations, all the internal best practices. Nothing gets done without its seal of approval. And finally, holding this whole team together is the orchestrator. This is the coordinator, the team lead. It takes the inputs from all the other agents, the history lesson from the librarian, the early warning from the watcher, the proposed fix from the tuner, and the green light from the steward, and it synthesizes all of it into one single, coherent, and actionable plan.
So that's all the theory, but how does this team of agents actually perform when the pressure is on? Let's walk through a real-world scenario to see this whole mission in action.
All right, the stage is set. It's a busy shopping day, and an e-commerce database suddenly gets slammed with a massive, unexpected surge in traffic. In the old world, this is when pagers start buzzing and chaos begins. In this new world, well, this is when the agents get to work. Instantly, the watcher spots the trend. And notice, it doesn't just say, hey, things are slow. It quantifies the problem. And, this is the crucial part, it projects it into the future. It's not just an alert, it's a forecast.
The orchestrator immediately passes that info to the team. The tuner jumps in and diagnoses the root cause. A specific query, Q147, is about to buckle under this load. So it proposes a tactical, immediate fix, a temporary vector index.
But hold on, before anyone acts, the librarian chimes in with this pearl of wisdom. It recognizes the traffic pattern. It's seen this before. In fact, this exact thing happened during last year's holiday surge, and it remembers what worked, scaling out by adding 2 read replicas.
So now the orchestrator has 2 potential solutions. It checks in with the steward, which does a quick verification and confirms that the most effective solution, creating those new replicas, is totally compliant with all security and budget policies. It gives the all clear, no conflicts.
And this brings us to the final step. The orchestrator synthesizes everything. It combines the librarian's brilliant strategic insight with the tuner's tactical fix, and it creates the absolute optimal action plan. This is then presented to the human operator for one final approval. A crisis that could have taken hours is averted in just minutes.
Now this obviously leads to a really critical question. If the machine is doing all of this, what's left for the human to do? The vision here is not about replacement, not at all. It's about elevation. The role of the human fundamentally changes.
Your database administrator is no longer a firefighter, constantly reacting to alerts and just drowning in endless metrics. They become a mission director. Their job is now to set the strategy, to guide the agents, to approve their complex recommendations, and to focus on the big picture of system architecture, not putting out fires.
So what you end up with is something truly transformative, a database that actually learns. This whole agentic architecture makes predictive operations possible. You get autonomous performance tuning and even self-healing clusters. And because you have agents like the librarian, the decisions it makes are explainable. It's a system that genuinely learns from its own history to get smarter and smarter over time.
And so we've come full circle. The database is no longer just a static tool you use. It is an active, intelligent partner you collaborate with. And that is the agentic leap. Next time, we're going to explore how this intelligence extends to understanding the very meaning of your data, not just its structure. The mission continues.